Hello there and welcome to this lesson. We'll be discussing how to provide excellent customer support with Chinese suppliers. A common myth in e-commerce space is that providing good customer support while using AliExpress or this Chinese supplier is impossible and will lead to account suspension. However, this is not true if you do the right things and follow the course as we've mentioned everything from choosing suppliers, from choosing the products, and so on. So the key is to handle customer issues promptly, quickly, and professionally to maintain a strong eBay seller reputation. So that's very important. So in this lesson, we will learn the best practices for handling customer support effectively when working with the Chinese suppliers like AliExpress. By following these steps, you can maintain high customer satisfaction and protect your eBay account from defects or suspension, as we mentioned previously. So, the strategies outlined here will not only improve your relationship with customers, but also help you streamline the operations, reducing unnecessary disputes and maximizing profits. So, the first thing is understanding customer expectations. Customers buying from your eBay store expect timely response, clear communications, and hassle-free return process. Unlike local suppliers, working with AliExpress comes with additional challenges, so keep that in mind, such as longer shipping times and communication barriers. Therefore, setting clear expectations with buyers before and after purchase is crucial. That's exactly what we have mentioned previously with your shipping policies, so keep that in mind. So, preemptive measures to avoid disputes. So, first of all, minimize issues. Clearly state shipping times and return policies in your product listings. Use high quality product images and descriptions to set accurate expectations and provide tracking numbers as they are available to assure buyers about their orders. By being proactive, you can reduce the likelihood of customers opening disputes and returns, thereby protecting your eBay seller account. The second point is handling requests and disputes. When a customer opens a return request due to damaged products, an incorrect item, or item not as described, you have to do the steps. So first of all, you have to request proof from the buyer themselves. Before processing any refunds, before giving any refund money or anything like that, make sure that the buyer exactly saying what they are and make sure that they have at least images and preferably video as well of going through the angles with the item. As I said, always ask the customer for the proof on time of the issue. This can include a video, a high quality image, detailed description, text of what happened. This documentation is essentially for filing a dispute with AliExpress later, because if the buyer is hesitant to provide proof, kindly explain that the supplier requires evidence before issuing a refund. Also, make sure that you issue an immediate refund. Once you receive the necessary proof, the buyer refund their money right away, even if the return request is still open. Here's why. Because AliExpress, first of all, takes a lot of time. So if the customer waits too long, they might escalate the case to eBay, and you don't want that. You want to keep it between you and the buyer. So if eBay steps in and rules in the favor of the buyer, you risk receiving a defect on your account, which can eventually lead to account suspension. So it's not worth it. So fast refunds improve customer satisfaction and prevent negative feedback. A smooth refund process increases the likelihood of repeat business. And as I said, what you have to do is that after refunding the customer, you should open a dispute with the supplier on AliExpress. The dispute process can take up to 2 weeks or even more, but in most cases, AliExpress will actually refund your money, especially for those situations. So how to file it, I talked about it in the previous video, is that you go to your order history on AliExpress, select the affected order, click on open dispute and provide the proof you received from the customers, video, images, text, and so on. And then you wait for AliExpress to process this dispute and refund your money. So if the supplier refuses the refund, you can simply escalate it to AliExpress support for further review, document all communication with the supplier to strengthen your case. Now, handling returns due to buyers' preferences. As I said, you need to control your selling preferences and, for example, do not provide refunds if the customer simply doesn't like the product. If you don't have this enabled, well, in this case, the customer wants to return the product simply because they don't like it. So here's how to manage it. Well, first of all, refund the customer without return. In most cases, AliExpress doesn't require a return for cheap products. Simply refund the buyer and consider it a business expense. This approach maintains customer satisfaction and prevents negative feedback. For frequent returns, analyze product description and customer complaints to identify potential improvements in your listing and make sure that you are exactly selling what you are promising. Option number 2, arrange a return with the supplier. So for higher value items, AliExpress suppliers may provide a return address if this happens. Obtain the return address from the supplier, provide it to customer via eBay messages. Once the supplier receives the return, they will refund you. You can then refund the customer if you haven't already. Well, in this scenario, as I said, less than 1% of disputes, as most customers will not want to pay for return to shipping to China due to the high cost, which is might be the cost of the product itself. So clearly communicate these costs in your return policy to manage buyer expectations. And here now we talk about strategies for maintaining positive customer relations. To build trust and encourage repeat customers, provide quick response times, as we've mentioned already. Be polite and professional, offer partial refunds when applicable, follow up with the buyers. Sometimes you just have to think about it as business expense, because realistically, if your product is what it is, most people wouldn't return this in the first place. As I said, key takeaways basically for customer support is that you need to act quickly, request proof, refund immediately. As I said, those three are very important. Open the disputes on AliExpress, manage returns wisely, improve listings based on feedback, make sure that your policy is set to be right, be proactive with communication and quick. So yeah, by following these steps, I hope that your customer support will be on top of its game. As I said, it's one of the most important things when it comes to selling on eBay, because at the end of the day, they came for the experience and they know they could have gotten the item cheaper somewhere else. So yeah, keep that in mind and don't let those things fool you. As I said, I'll see you in the next lesson. Have a good one.